Good morning and welcome to the 4th UKFT Sustainability Conference. I'm Adam Mansell, I'm the CEO of the UK Fashion and Textile Association, and I'm your host for the day. I'd like to take a moment just to say thank you to the Textile Livery Group for their generous support of today's conference, and a special thank you for the Drapers Company for providing this magnificent venue. It's great to be back in Drapers Hall for our 4th conference. Previously, we've examined the sustainability challenges facing the UK textile manufacturing sector, as well as the challenges and opportunities facing the entire industry when it comes to the vast amount of textile waste that the sector generates. Today, we'll be focusing on providing insights into the innovations that are happening right now, innovations that with investment from across the sector will help accelerate the move to a cleaner, economically sustainable, circular industry. We're going to explore innovative developments across 4 key themes. Firstly, we'll be looking at material innovation, then next generation colour, developments in manufacturing, and finishing up with next gen recycling. The format of today is different than previous conferences, and much of the day will be in the form of quick-fire 5-minute spotlights and case studies, then followed up by a series of panel discussions. And we'll be using these wonderful egg timers to keep all the speakers on time. Of course we will. There will be Q&A sessions, but only after the panel discussions. And to ensure that we can take as many questions as possible, please keep your questions short and specific. There will be time to speak to all of the speakers during the breaks, and all of the sessions today are being filmed. So if there's something you find particularly interesting, you'll be able to watch it again. Before we get into the meat of the day, I just wanted to take a little bit of time to talk about UKFT. We're the largest network of fashion and textile businesses in the UK, and our members range from UK manufacturers, emerging brands, global retailers, designer businesses, the reuse and recycling sector, and material and process innovators. And our members produce everything from tailored suits to tennis balls, and from children's pyjamas to components for submarines. We've brought reuse and recycling specialists into membership alongside a new membership category dedicated towards innovation. And collectively, we're creating a connected sector-wide network for sustainable change from fibre through to final life cycle. The breadth and the depth of our membership creates many opportunities for collaboration and partnerships. And later today, you'll hear some great examples of where connections have been forged across the supply chain, showing how collaboration can drive innovation and deliver tangible results. UKFT is committed to creating the best environment for our industry. And as the voice of our members, we demonstrate the strategic and economic value of our vibrant industry to policymakers. We ensure that the sector's key issues are on the government's agenda. This can range from very specific stuff, for example, talking to the EU Commission about derogations on the upcoming ban of PFAS, to big policy shifts, like the potential introduction of a textiles EPR scheme in the UK. Many of you will know about the research focus that we do around sustainability, and in particular the work that we've done recently on the UKFT-led ACT project. ACT was looking at one element of dealing with that post-consumer textile waste, and I'm sure that everyone in the audience can cite the figures about the size of the problem that we face around post-consumer textile waste and how much is thrown away every year. But alarmingly, new research from UKFT and Leeds University shows that we're not facing one mountain of textile waste, but 2. Our research reveals that the amount of non-fashion textile waste generated every year is probably larger than the amount of post-consumer textile waste. And by non-fashion, I'm talking about textiles used in healthcare, hospitality, automotive, and so on. You can see the figures up behind me. The research is showing that somewhere in the region of 3,260 odd kilotons of textile waste is produced in the UK every year. We think split roughly 50-50, but the data around that non-fashion textile waste is really difficult to get hold of. The research was published last week, and I'm raising it today because there are huge opportunities to develop from the learnings of the ACT programme across both textile waste streams, and to unlock research challenges around recycling more broadly. Both the ACT project and the SIFIN programme that we ran so successfully with the British Fashion Council clearly demonstrated the challenges the sector faces, but also showed the power of industry collaboration. So it's extremely frustrating that the government research funding specifically for fashion and textiles has ceased. But despite the challenging funding landscape, we will continue to drive industry research. And sustainability continues to be an important part of what we do across all of our activities. As well as carrying out research, through our publications, our webinars, our bespoke support, we help members develop and share best practice around sustainability, helping support them as we all navigate the ever-changing global sustainability landscape. We support members large and small in understanding and meeting the complex global compliance requirements. We give detailed, practical, business-focused support on a huge range of issues, from global labelling requirements and product safety, through to understanding global trading rules and international developments in restricted substances. Through our active engagement with policymakers in the UK, the EU, the US, and further afield, we make sure our members are both kept up to date, but also, and importantly, have a voice in shaping legislation. We've been working to help ensure that the education sector keeps up with the challenges of sustainability. We've updated the core content of industry vocational training standards to include sustainability skills. In conjunction with Huddersfield University, we've developed a CPD programme to help companies better understand life cycle assessments. We've worked with Westminster University to develop the country's first MA in fashion manufacturing. And we've been working with Nottingham Trent University to better map current and future sustainability skills needs. Through our international trade campaigns, we showcase the UK's sustainability credentials, celebrating the innovators that drive creativity and demonstrating the quality and ingenuity that make UK fashion and textiles so admired worldwide. If you'd like to know more about what we do, please do come and talk to any of the team. You can find them, they've got coral lanyards on, or get in touch in the usual channels. At the conference in 2023, I presented the findings of our first ever sustainability survey of the industry, which looked at the challenges companies were facing when trying to meet the rapidly expanding sustainability landscape. And for this conference, we thought it'd be really interesting to revisit that survey and to rerun it to track how approaches to sustainability have evolved over the past 2 years. The results provide a snapshot of what is currently driving sustainability efforts across the industry and show significant shifts in focus. And all of that provides a really good background for today's discussions. When it comes to what's motivating companies currently, what motivates company, in 2023, only 9% of respondents told us that legislation was their main driver for action on sustainability. Just 2 short years later, you can see the massive difference is now 70% of businesses are citing legislation as their main driver for action. Another significant change was in the pressure of customer demand. This year, 62% of companies said this was a key driver. 2 years ago, just 26% of companies highlighted that. But following on from that 70% of companies that put legislation as the key driver for action, the good news is that businesses now appear more attuned to regulatory pressures and more confident about their ability to respond. And over 90% of the respondents said they felt confident about managing legislation. But while the confidence is high, the survey also illustrated the complex and ever-growing impact of legislative pressure, and there are still many areas where the industry say they need more support and clarity. You can see the results on the slide, and while the results aren't necessarily surprising, with 80% saying they needed help with DPP, sorry for the non-textile people in the room, that's digital product passport legislation, 65% of respondents wanted help to understand the extended producer responsibility scheme in the UK, and so on. What we found really interesting was that the 2 biggest areas of concern, DPP and the UK EPR, are still completely undefined. As most of you will know, the details of DPP have yet to be written, and they're not expected to be published for some time yet. And when it comes to the EPR scheme in the UK, whilst we all want it, we don't even know whether there will be a UK EPR scheme, never mind what the scope and mechanisms will be. But looking forward, that focus from industry on DPP and EPR does correlate very closely with what companies told us were their sustainability priorities for the year ahead. Traceability came out on top at 49%, closely followed by sustainability legislation at 48%, standards and certification at 46%, and you can see the rest. As well as telling us what their focuses were going to be and their priorities for the year ahead, industry also told us about their barriers, what is preventing them from moving forward on their sustainability ambitions. Again, firstly, not a surprise at all, the biggest challenge was the admin burden that comes with meeting compliance. And alongside the 86% of companies that said that admin burden was the biggest challenge. 61% of companies said that the cost of meeting compliance legislation was their biggest challenge, second biggest challenge. The other major theme that emerges when it comes to issues that are blocking progress is that there appears to be a skills shortage when it comes to sustainability in this industry. Or actually, more accurately, there seems to be a lack of investment by businesses in sustainability skills. And over a third of businesses reported that they had no in-house expertise or knowledge when it came to sustainability and compliance. Many companies continue to add sustainability responsibilities to existing roles rather than recruiting dedicated experts. And 32% of businesses reported that sustainability responsibilities were shared across the existing workforce. The fourth major blocker to taking sustainability ambitions forward is the lack of reliable or credible data. 41% of respondents raised this as a challenge. But businesses are also very clear that data is absolutely crucial, and 77% of businesses told us that environmental impact data influences their company's decisions when selecting or implementing new materials, processes, or technologies. So we've got a massive data gap and a huge need. Now, from my perspective, it was very positive that over 3/4 of the respondents cited that the information produced by UKFT was their main way of staying up to date with sustainability-related information. But the significant cost of compliance, the persistent lack of knowledge, the skills gaps, the data gap, underline the huge hurdles that the sector faces when it wants to make progress. The final theme that emerged from the survey this year was that innovation is rapidly becoming a strategic lever to drive sustainability. Planning the conference very early this year, we were pleased to see our instincts validated when 87% of companies reported that innovation is key to their future. But despite recognizing the strategic importance of innovation, businesses were also very clear that there were significant gaps in their knowledge. And in particular, companies wanted a better understanding of innovation in next-gen materials, low-impact dyes and processes, and recycling. Overall, the survey revealed an industry that is driven by regulation, aware of its responsibilities, and ambitious about innovation, but still struggling with the expertise, the data, and the systems needed to measure progress with confidence. The speakers today will, I know, give us a much clearer view of how innovation can translate into practical steps forward on that sustainability journey, and how each of us can contribute to moving from ambition into action. We're now going to start with the first of our sessions on next-gen materials. And in this session, we'll hear about new approaches to fibre and material development, about how innovation is shaping how textiles are made, and how we think about the life cycle of materials. And to kick us off, I'm delighted to welcome up on stage Elsa from Positive Materials. And Elsa will introduce us to the exciting world of next-gen materials and share how Positive Materials are helping scale these innovations. Thank you.